Welcome to Oilersnation Everyday with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
On a day like today, there's only one way to properly honor Calvin Pickard's time with the Edmonton Oilers. He fucking cleared waivers. Let's get into it with the lead. Calvin Pickard clears waivers, everybody, because it turns...
I wasn't going to.
Go on, turn it around. There we go. Oh. There we go. He will forever be up in our rafters next to another great Mikko Koskinen. Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday. Do you want to put the light back on?
Fuck's sakes.
Calvin Pickard cleared waivers, everybody.
Forever.
30-19. Forever.
It's some of our finest work, gentlemen.
Welcome into the show. We are live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. The show, as always, a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. A chaotic start to the show. But Liam, so it turns out no one wants your third-string goalie who has an .870 save percentage, hey? Color me stunned.
Crazy stuff happening in the NHL today. People didn't want one of the worst goalies in the NHL.
I get that this fan base has a love for Calvin Pickard. I said all along that he would clear waivers. I just don't think another team who has, we'll call it bad goaltending, and it could be Philly, it could be Vancouver, Montreal. They're not going to look at a guy with an .870 save percentage and go,
The answer.
I wonder if that guy could be our answer. No, they're going to just bank on the guys they have figuring it out. So I am 5% surprised that Calvin Pickard cleared today.
I didn't really know what was going to happen, to be honest, but I felt like the Oilers had just waited long enough of this guy, and eventually, we kind of spoke on Friday, it gets to the point when is he going to sit there and be like, I want to play. I want to play hockey games. If you're not going to let me play here, that's fine. But I want to go find somewhere else to play. So
every team had a chance to grab him for free.
No
one did.
But maybe this is kind of like the Connor Ingram thing where you put him through waivers. Now he becomes more appealing to somebody.
Can I give a counterpoint, though, if you're the
Sure.
Oilers? As much as maybe you want to do right by him,
now you have a third-string goalie in the American League.
yeah, I'm not trading him. Even if Calvin Pickard says, I want to out-trade me, I'm kind of saying, why do you want to go? Also, he was a Condor for a while, so,
started as a Condor.
He would have a relationship and a rapport with those guys down there. He wouldn't be totally unfamiliar to playing there, the city, all of that stuff, the organization. I go to Calvin Pickard now and I say, hey, man, we might need you again come playoff time. Guys get hurt. Some people even say the Oilers have an injury-prone goalie in Tristan Jarry. But, if I'm Calvin Pickard now, if I'm the Oilers, I'm telling him, hey, you need to go be a good soldier for us. You're a part of our organizational depth chart.
Yeah, go. You can't be a third string for us anymore, but go join a three-headed monster in Bakersfield.
Yeah, go join another 3 goalie situation.
There are a lot of goalies here in Edmonton. Someone tweeted, and I can't find it right now, and I forget who said it. Maybe you saw it. Someone mentioned, maybe he won't report after the Olympic break. But I don't
think they're going to. They have Tompkins and Ungar both playing, and Ungar is playing. Ungar made 51 saves the other day, set a franchise record in their wins.
It's really crazy.
Crazy. And I see Keegan. Yeah, Ungar is the next Jesper Wallstedt, sure.
No, Ungar has better AHL numbers than Wallstedt ever did.
Wallstedt had brutal American League numbers.
I think he had less than a 900 last season.
Yeah.
Pretty good NHL goalie, though.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Oilers, Pickard, by the way, not on the ice for practice today. I wouldn't be surprised if the Oilers...
Why?
It's on waivers. I wouldn't be surprised if they told Pickard, hey, you don't need to go report to Bakersfield right now. Because, again, why do they need him at the moment?
He has to go for a game.
If you ever want to call him up, sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's that side of it, too. Mm-hmm. Does he get suspended?
I don't know what the rule is. I think, so maybe he does have to report or something. I think you might be able to get around that loophole by using an emergency call upon him if you ever needed him, which, like, again, that's the only scenario where you'd ever need him. But yeah, I don't want to say I don't care if Calvin Pickard reports or not, because I think you want to keep him around because you might need a third goalie at some point. With the way Connor Ungar's playing, maybe you feel like you don't actually need Calvin Pickard around. But my point being, I wouldn't be surprised if they tell Cal, like, hey, take the next month off. You can still go do whatever you were planning to do, spend time with your family, go to wherever, be warm, and we'll revisit things in March. Maybe they'd try to trade him again at that point. I doubt it. At that point, maybe they have an awkward conversation with a Matt Tompkins or something and say, hey, our priority is winning the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately for you, like journeyman career minor league European guy Matt Tompkins, like you're going to be the third guy, or we're sending you down, or we're going to find somewhere else for you to play. Like there's going to have to be an awkward conversation at some point here with somebody. I wouldn't be surprised if after the Olympic break, Pickard has a month to just kind of chill here. He goes down, plays with Connor Ungar, and they say, hey, we need you to go be a good soldier for us. And to his credit, like, again, I know we did the joke, we retired his number next to Mikko Koskinen, but like we look back on Mikko Koskinen pretty fondly, actually.
Not as bad as we thought.
Not as bad as we thought it was. And Calvin Pickard, like, you know, it won't even need the revisionist history, but like we can all sit here and you can totally understand and be appreciative of what Calvin Pickard did for this organization the last couple of years, the spot he stepped into, the spots they continually threw him into, and he passed with flying colors. Like, yes, I loved what Calvin Pickard did. They don't make back-to-back Stanley Cup finals without Calvin Pickard. We can say all that while also recognizing that he is an .870 save percentage and statistically this year has been one of the worst goaltenders in the NHL. That's not good enough. It is a results-driven business. It is a what have you done for me lately business. And you're judged based on your successes and your failures. And this year, it's just been way too many failures compared to successes. It cost Stuart Skinner his job at Edmonton. They traded him for Tristan Jarry. It was eventually going to cost Calvin Pickard his job, no matter how good of a teammate he was and how much the guys in the room vouched for him. Like, he just was not good enough.
I like what Ryan Nugent-Hopkins put in the check. Pickard was found money. In a way, like they definitely signed him to be a third string, and I think he got one contract extension, right? If I'm not mistaken.
He did.
And obviously went on to have two pretty strong runs in the Stanley Cup. I do always think it's unfair to say that Pickard was the reason the Oilers made it to the Cup final back-to-back years. He definitely was a reason.
Yep.
And Skinner played a big role in that too. And that duo's gone. It feels really crazy to think that we are back-to-back Western Conference champions, the Oilers, and both goalies that got them to there are now gone. And it's a really wild thing. You'd think they would have been the backbone of this team, and I think Pickard was in his off-the-ice stuff, I guess you could say. But on the ice, the results were just too obvious recently, and it just wasn't good enough. And it's ironic that we talk about this after what we saw on Saturday night from Tristan Jarry. But nevertheless, the Oilers have made a decision, and they want to move forward into a new era without that goaltending duo. And as we talk about Connor Ungar, I thought there was a comment here from God damn it, names are so tough. Midginev?
Sure.
Midginev?
I don't know.
Campbell was a good AHL goalie after we talked about Connor Ungar.
He was.
Well, Jack Campbell does have a .909 save percentage in the NHL in 176 games. He basically had two bad years in his career, and they were both here. And I think it needs to lead into a conversation of why does every goalie come to Edmonton and crap their pants?
And that is a conversation we will absolutely have today. I just wanted to give you this for the people who are maybe saying, like, again, team in front of them is bad, team in front of them is bad. I do think the team in front of these goalies has not been good at times. Can I give you Natural Statrics goals saved above average stat?
Sure.
This is at 5-on-5. So we removed I didn't do penalty kill. I could do all strengths, I guess, but this is just the 5-on-5 number because it's in front of me. Ingram's number 1 at a positive 1.81. Skinner's number 2, positive 1.18. Jarry's number 3, positive 1.06.
Oh, yeah.
Those three guys are all kind of within the same range. I would say Ingram's a bit above, but like still, that's the range there. Calvin Pickard, again, they're all positive. Positive 1 to positive 1.8 is range. Calvin Pickard is negative 4. He had 16 games. This is not like they threw him out because of a bad 3 starts and said, we're done with this guy. They gave him every opportunity to win his job back. He didn't do it. They had to move on. And to his credit, the guy who's number 1 on that list, Connor Ingram, like this doesn't even have anything to do with Tristan Jarry. Calvin Pickard was thoroughly outplayed by Connor Ingram over the last month.
Yeah. Wasn't
over the last 2
close.
months. Not even close.
Sorry, what was Skinner's number on there?
1.18.
And that's a goalie who had a game that he lost 9-1.
Yeah.
And the same goal that lost the game 8-3. Pretty wild. Wild stats.
If you want to go all
not good either, by the way, just in general.
All strengths to include the penalty kill, that same stat. Ingram is positive 4.56. Stuart Skinner is 3.81 positive. Jarry is minus 2.7. And Calvin Pickard is 5.66, which gives you an idea of just how badly the penalty kill is tanking Tristan Jarry's numbers, which is obviously a big part of the storyline from Saturday night. And of course, we'll break down that game in a couple of minutes here. The other one that I do think is interesting is expected goals against.
For all 4 of those goalies?
Yeah,
okay.
So that would be no comment at all on the goaltenders. That would be on the team playing in front of them.
Yes.
How many, based on the quality of scoring chances that you're giving up, how many expected goals against should you have? Let me just break it down really quick into the rates, because the straight up stat. Expected goals against per 60, number 1, highest on the list, Tristan Jarry, 3.39. That would tell you, out of the 4 Oilers goalies we've seen this year, the team in front of them has played the worst for Tristan Jarry. Number 2 on the list, Calvin Pickard, 3.26. Skinner's 3rd, 3.01. Ingram's 4th, 2.76. So again, you can start to do some correlation here of like, okay, the guy who has the best numbers, goals saved above expected, goals against average, all those things, his numbers are the best. The expected goals against is also the lowest. So the team plays the best in front of Ingram, and he also makes a bunch of saves that he is supposed to and a handful that he's not supposed to, and that's the reason why you're able to get a guy who's well above league average in pretty much every metric you look at in Connor Ingram. So yeah, I don't know. They've totally flipped their goaltending from a few months ago. The goalies that ended up bringing them to 2 Stanley Cup finals. I won't say carrying, obviously, that would have been a funny slip, but like brought them to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. All right. They recognized it wasn't good enough this year. I will give Stan Bowman credit for that. He at least made bets. I still am nervous that the Tristan Jarry trade is not going to end up looking well. I think what we've seen so far, especially since the two have gone to their respective new teams, is Jarry and Skinner are probably a lot closer in talent than I think a lot of us recognize. I think you're maybe hoping Jarry has the ability to put together a higher floor than Stuart Skinner did, but then you watch games like Saturday night, and it's like, okay, I'm not really sure if he has a higher floor. My point still stands. The Jarry for Skinner trade might not end up looking all that great for the Edmonton Oilers, but I also think the people who are criticizing it are the same people who are screaming that the Oilers don't do anything about their goaltending. And I feel like you and I, as much as we're wrong a lot, our batting averages, whatever it is with our takes,
.650.
Sure. Worse than all their save percentages. The one thing you and I were is we were defenders of Stuart Skinner. And everyone said any goalie in the NHL is worse. Stuart Skinner is not an NHL goalie. The detractors had a field day with him all these times. Well, what you're seeing with Tristan Jarry is that the grass isn't always greener. I still think he can be a good goalie. I still think he can be the guy who helps get the Edmonton Oilers to the promised land. But I also believed the whole time that Stuart Skinner could still be that guy because he got you right to the doorstep twice. And I will say, I think when we look back on this season in however many months, however many years, I think what we'll recognize as the biggest mistake is actually their loyalty to Calvin Pickard. Because if they weren't so fiercely loyal to Pickard through those struggles in November, you might have brought up Connor Ingram earlier. Ingram might have played this well. And then you may not have been at the point where you want to make the panic trade for Tristan Jarry and agree to a contract that is not that good.
Yeah, and that's a good point, actually. If they had, like, that Tampa Bay game, if that flips and that doesn't go the way it did end up going, and the Oilers got a point out of it, so there's a positive out of it, of course. But, like, if Sam Bowman was just allowed to make it that decision that he wanted to, that game, then we might be looking here, and Kulak might still be on the team. You can say whatever you want about that one. You don't have Stasny, obviously.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, but like you probably are looking at more of like an Ingram-Skinner duo, I would say at least to this point. But I do think the team has slipped drastically in January.
Okay.
And I think it has harmed both the goaltenders that have played.
And in those numbers I rattled off, yeah?
Yeah, and that's what I would say. I think that... So, I'll just read them. In January, the Oilers' high danger chances against, they are 4th most in the NHL. 159.
So bad.
Very bad.
Giving up the 4th most high danger chances in January. Okay.
Save percentage, this is all at 5-5, by the way. Save percentage is 26. They have an 890 save percentage at 5-5. High danger save percentage is 12th in the NHL, 84%, or 40, whatever you want to call it. Just to compare that to November, which was a terrible month for the Edmonton Oilers. You may remember, we mentioned it already. They got blown out 9-1 by the Colorado Avalanche.
That was bad.
That was a tough night. Tough Saturday night. In November, the numbers were, the high danger chances against was the second most in the league, but they had 148. In January, they had 159. So they've been worse in January for giving up high danger chances against at 5-5. And their save percentage was 860, and they was dead last in the NHL. For a positive, they did find their way back in December. December was a great month for the Oilers. It was very positive for them. They were 24th in the NHL in high danger chances against, which was 125 against. And they were 16th in the NHL at save percentage with a 910 save percentage at 5-5.
Yeah.
Is a team game. And as much as I don't think that game was as much as on the team on Saturday as it was on Jarry. I think Jarry wasn't very good, don't get me wrong, but I think the overall picture is the Oilers have lost their defensive game completely. And the proof is in the pudding. How many times have they had to come back in games? And I know that's kind of their style, and sometimes it's going to happen. But when you face these great teams like the Minnesota Wild look to be, you can't just keep getting blown out by 7+ goals.
And they were leading in that hockey game at points, Liam. That's, again, just a crazy part of all this. A couple of comments I want to get to over in our YouTube chat. Villa says, we all wanted a GM to do something with the goalies. This is what he did. No regrets. We're a couple games behind first in the Pacific, gearing up for a run. I think that's a totally fair take to have.
I'm fine with the trade still, by the way. I know you're upset, but that's fine.
No, I just... Nothing Jarry's done has changed my opinion my initial opinion.
Okay, that's fair.
My initial opinion was you're now down a couple draft picks, you're up in cap space, you're down a defenseman for what could only be a lateral move. And what we've seen so far from Tristan Jarry is that this has been a lateral move through the first month and a bit of his tenure. He's been hurt. And again, maybe that's part of it. Yeah. Maybe he's lagging behind, and once he gets up to speed and healthy, maybe we can give him the benefit of the doubt. But this also isn't a 26-year-old anymore, right? This is a guy who has a track record from Pittsburgh. And what Penguins fans will tell you is they'll laugh and say, yup, this is the Tristan Jarry experience. We got another one in here and said from Miganath. Is that the one you were trying to read earlier?
Yeah,
too?
that was the one.
Kulak was trending the wrong way before the trade. Sorry, no revisionist history allowed.
I'm fine with that trade, too. I don't think Kulak was playing well.
And I think a Stastny for Kulak swap, I don't think they're a worse hockey team, but let me just add a point onto sorry, no revisionist history allowed. Back to one of the first points we made, results-driven business. I'm going to sit here and judge Stan Bowman on how the players he acquired perform in Oilers jerseys. Again, that's kind of what we're doing here. It is about wins and losses. Well, yeah, Trent Frederick. I liked Freddie. I thought I really wanted Frederick a year ago. All that stuff. We can sit here and roast them for Trent Frederick because it's not working. And they signed up for 8 years of it. I don't like the whole, you can't use revisionist history. In the NHL, it is about wins and losses and how your trades and the new players you brought in have performed. And right now, there are, again, some reasons to applaud Stan Bowman?
Totally.
Absolutely. Vasily Podkolzin, unbelievable story. Spencer Stastny, great pickup by the Oilers pro scouting. Jack Roslovic has worked out. He found the back of the net against Minnesota. He's looked great. Jake Wallman, love that trade. Connor Ingram, scooping him off the scrap heap, but doing it in a way that maintained cap flexibility. Because remember, there were a lot of those people on Twitter who claim they're never wrong about anything, who could not believe the Oilers didn't claim Connor Ingram. That 24-hour, whatever it was, 12 hours after Ingram went through, people were livid. How could he do nothing about the goaltending? Well, he got him for half price and didn't have to give up an asset, and then could start him in Bakersfield and let him have a proper training camp. Plenty of reasons to be happy about Stan Bowman, but I'm also not going to, there can be a gray area in all of this. I can be happy about some things and upset about some things. His loyalty to Calvin Pickard cost him cap space because you had to sign up for Jarry, and it cost him Brett Kulak, who could have been flipped for another asset. Brett Kulak would have gotten you a mid-round pick. Instead, you had to trade a second and Skinner and Kulak to get Jarry, who's a worse contract and signed for 2 years, who might be a lateral move. And all of it comes back to, if you would have waived Calvin Pickard in November and brought up Connor Ingram, you may have actually gotten an answer to a question before you had to do all the desperate shit. So you can sit here and criticize Stan Bowman for that while not totally turning a blind eye to the good things that he's done. Like, both of these things can be true. Are the Oilers in a good spot to go on a run this year? Yes, I think so. As someone said, they're fighting for first in the Pacific Division. This can still be a great regular season. They can still win the division for the first time in my lifetime. I have never in my 28 years on this earth been alive.
What was it, 86 last
89, I think. 89? We were all dead. Kinda. It works.
An afterthought.
Yeah. This can still be a great regular season. They can still go on a long playoff run, and all of that can still be true while we sit here and say, was this the best way to go about the goaltending the last couple of months? Totally fair.
Yeah.
Pacific Division's bad. It totally is. I know it sucks.
The Pacific Division
but you play the teams in front of you. Patriots are in the goddamn Super Bowl. They haven't won anything.
Oh, yeah.
Just like 15, 16 games. That's whatever.
I think the whole division thing isn't... The division sucks, whatever, but like, I feel like if the Oilers were in a different division, they would probably elevate their game a little bit more. Like, it's just who you play on most nights. If I remember correctly, and I have to go back and look a little bit too, but they didn't play very well until later on in the year against those Central Division opponents last season. Like, Minnesota, I would just say one thing on the Wild. The Oilers beat them a couple times last year. Prior to that, we have, you said you haven't seen a division title in your lifetime. Yeah. We've barely seen the Oilers beat the Minnesota Wild in our lifetime.
They've lost 14 of their last 16 to Minnesota.
And like getting blown out 7-3, terrible, 100%. That's unacceptable. But it is just something that seems to happen against Edmonton for whatever reason. The Colorado thing, I'm hoping they just caught them on a really bad night. And when you think back to the Dallas ones as well, if they've lost the games, the 8-3 game was terrible. Don't get me wrong. But when they played them in Dallas, they were up in that game. I think 3-1, they blew it. Like, they are actually playing pretty well. And I know I'm trying to pull out the positives in all of this, but I don't think the Oilers are as bad as a 7-3 loss on Saturday night made it seem. Because it was only 2 weeks ago we were talking about them shutting out two teams on a back-to-back weekend.
Yeah.
You know? So I think the Oilers will be fine. I just think they need to find their defensive identity, and I do think that part comes down to Chris Knoblauch. You have to find it in these guys, and maybe that is playing guys a little bit more and shaving some minutes off when your top line's -2 or whatever it may be, and that's for him to figure out. But I think this is the biggest pickle that we've seen Knoblauch in his tenure, and I know the Oilers started horribly last season when he was in charge, but like, after they started bad, it was kind of smooth sailing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a great season either, but like, this season is like, okay, we're 50 plus games in. You've gone from the best defensive team in the league to the worst defensive team in the league in the space of like 6 games, in the sense of like December to January. And it's unacceptable. Let's go. Let's keep going on the chat. There's a lot going on.
Leave the goalie hanging commented. Apparently, we might be making 2 trades this week. I want to, just because it's fresh in my mind with all the Pickard shit we heard over the last 24 hours, with every little pretend wannabe insider on Twitter telling you that I have it on good authority that he's getting claimed. I have it on good authority that he's clearing. I heard this team's claiming him. All that bullshit. There are, and media literacy, this is a bigger problem in the world than Oilers fans. Media literacy is at an all-time low. If you cannot go out on Twitter and tell who the people are that you should and shouldn't be listening to by this point, I don't know what to tell you. When it comes to true like rumors in Edmonton and who is like not only deeply connected with sources and gets info before it becomes true, but is also like willing enough to put their reputation online consistently, there are 2 or 3 media members in Edmonton who you can like pretty consistently look back at their track record and be like, oh yeah, they only speak up and say stuff when they're 100% sure it's happening or close to it. Tom Gazzola nails shit all the time. He is actually probably like close to the best at it in terms of who's connected in the organization. When Bob speaks, you always listen because he is Bob Stauffer. And Rashog, as much as he doesn't really do a lot of like rumor stuff like that, he's more of like, again, he deals with stories and facts and stuff.
Bob?
No, Rashog.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say with Bob, you got to read between the lines a little
bit.
You
got to do some read between the lines. And like Rashog will just be more direct. If he has something, he'll report it. But like those are kind of the only 3. If you're even you and I, like, and I'm excluding the national guys. Like Pagnotta's going to be behind 20 minutes,
Sure.
very well connected. Jeff Merrick joins our show every week, very well connected in the Oilers organization. But like, there is so much fake insider shit on Twitter from people who are Oilers fans or do a little Oilers show or whatever. Like you and I don't pretend to do shit like that.
I got nothing.
Yeah, you deleted Twitter. But like, I'm so sick of every time one of these little fake insiders throws something out, everybody runs with it and everybody falls for it again. And these people are wrong way more often than they're right. And blind squirrel finds a nut once every 12 months. They delete every other tweet and go, look how right I am. Look how right I am. Like, could the Oilers make 2 trades this week? Sure. Does it have anything to do or would it add any credibility to a podcast that's reporting it? No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I know you wouldn't want me to say all this, but I get so sick of it.
No, I'm fine. I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Go off, King. Go off.
I'm just waiting for Nathaniel Day to get his call up to the NHL. Then we can smooth
Well,
sail
right, like
from
so many people, and like I don't understand what they get out of it.
Yeah.
But God, yeah, like the as per Garfield stuff. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I actually believe them.
Well, for the longest time, people thought that was Bob, and it
might still
definitely is
be.
not Bob.
Could be Bob.
Get the click, boys. But like again,
I don't need
these people aren't even promoting anything. Go look at episodes of these podcasts on YouTube. They get 12 views.
I'll be honest. I used to be in that game where it's like, I need people to like this tweet. And now I just say, I'm good. I'll text my friends. Like, see if anyone likes it. Nah.
I'm so on edge. I'm opening up my lunchtime Diet Coke early. Oh, that's good.
I wonder what the trades would even be. I mean, Mangiapane, we'll see.
Mangiapane and Bobby McMann, if they happen.
But Friedman, I think it was Friedman, or maybe it was Frank on the big program. Yeah, it was Frank, sorry. Said he's like, things have kind of calmed down a little bit on the Mangiapane front. So we'll see.
Similar to how no one claimed Calvin Pickard, no one wants the guy the Oilers have been healthy scratching for 5 weeks.
I know. No. It's hard to believe. You gotta get some players to you got to get some teams.
You guys are so funny in the comments, and I love you all. But like, fuck, it's so good.
You got to get some teams to keep falling out of the race here if you want Mangiapane to go. And the other side of it, as much as the Oilers want to clear some cap space to obviously accrue, so does everybody else. And no one's just going to be willing to take on $3.6 million and just be like, we don't need the extra.
Just
cap
to do
space.
it, solid here, Stan.
We got you, Stan. All good. How's your dad?
Someone asked earlier, and we will break down the game from the other day, but again, this is...
No. We don't have to.
Oh, you don't want to break down
What's
the game?
the point?
I mean, that's also fair. I think there are some conversations after him, but someone asked the cap situation with Pickard out the door. So I'm going to walk you through the math, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
With Pickard off the books, they should have enough to activate Henrique from LTIR should they choose to do so, or should they have to do so.
They probably will.
Yeah.
For the accruing.
Yeah. Because if you were to send down Szymanski,
which I believe, is $1.4 million with bonuses.
Okay. Then, yeah, you have a chance to actually have... That's honestly probably why they did this with Pickard.
Yeah, it definitely is.
They can now activate Henrique. They can send down Szymanski. And, I mean, you could honestly try to get away with sending somebody else down as well if you wanted to, although I'm not totally sure who that would be. You could paper transaction down Savoy. But, like, if they wanted to, they could get themselves to a decent amount, a little bit of cap space here and let it accrue for a month while the break's on. And you can't make moves anyways.
Let's look at the Condos schedule here quickly.
Okay.
So the Olympic break for the Oilers is Thursday. They play Wednesday, obviously. Mm-hmm. So when do the Condos play next? They play on Friday in Bakersfield. Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's any chance, like we've kind of spoke about it a little bit too. I think last time we had Hart on. You said Nelson was like, hey, play that. Don't even play. You're a healthy scratch that game. Does he have to play? I don't know.
He has to play.
Okay, go play.
Go give us 8 minutes.
One game. And go to Cabo for 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
But 3 weeks, whatever the break is. But besides that, like, there's no one else. I don't think they're going to send down Regula. He's not waiver eligible. Savoy's the only guy. It makes sense. It makes too much sense.
And for the chat, we're only saying send him down for the purpose of accruing more cap space.
And no other reason. He's fully
an NHLer.
deserves to be in the NHL.
And the only reason why they might not do it is because they might want to show him the respect of like, hey.
Yeah. Which I think they probably will lean.
Because the other part of it is you'd be sending him down and he'd go back to getting American League paychecks for the month.
I'm sure someone can.
Someone can make that right.
But I'm sure someone could help him out. People, the disrespect is what, buddy. We have been loving Savoy since the day he arrived.
Since the day he arrived at Sherwood Park Crusaders camp, buddy.
Get the picture up, Aaron. Savoy would not get claimed. He is waiver eligible. He can go up and down.
Yeah.
No problem.
Strictly paper transaction.
Strictly paper transaction.
I don't think the chat is understanding that.
But, oh God, the Savoy metrics are so bad, the eye test lies, sadly. You can use the same. You can use them both. Yep. He's also a rookie, so get over it.
He's also been playing way better as of late.
He also doesn't play with McDavid and Draisaitl anymore.
Well, that too.
Like, this is a big thing. Is like they have trusted a rookie to play on the third line, drive a bit of offense, and also be a penalty killer from day one. From the day of camp, he has been on the penalty kill. He's going to be a good player for the Oilers for a while.
So if you were to send those two down, like, again, you'd actually free up a decent little chunk of cap space here. And all you want is for it to accrue for a little bit so that you can get to the deadline and maybe have a little bit more wiggle room. Might make acquiring two players easier in that sense. So,
I think when you did your math, did you take off Pickard off this thing?
I don't know if he's being included right now. I don't think he is, hey? Because, it's 1.4 in cap space. That means, 2.5 in LTIR.
Maybe they only have to send down Szymanski.
To allow Henrique to play? I think so. Or they're off by a little bit of money. I can text Hart.
Yeah. Text him.
Yeah, I will. I'll get that sorted out as well. We're going to be joined by Dave Pagnotta in about 10 minutes, but just talking a little bit more about the weekend, Liam. Our game recaps, as always, are brought to you by Derek Dodge. It's the beginning of a new chapter for Derek Dodge in Edmonton. They are under new ownership, bringing a fresh approach, new energy, and a renewed focus on customer experience. And right now, they have an unbeatable deal. With every vehicle purchase, you will receive a trip for two to Las Vegas. You heard that right. Leave the lot with your new vehicle and flights and accommodations for a trip for two to Vegas. It's on them. That is tough to beat. Visit them 6211 104th Street Northwest or online at derekdodge.com. The Tristan Jarry thing. The Edmonton Oilers were bad in front of him. I am not going to try to convince anyone otherwise. I think the expected goals as a whole in that hockey game were 4.79 for Minnesota. So, again, Jarry was in net for a pretty good chunk of those. Minus 0.41 goals saved above expected or whatever.
Not bad.
Like, again, his numbers on the expected side, actually weren't bad. He didn't face a lot of shots. It's going to tank his save percentage, just like that game against Pittsburgh tanked it as well. So, he might have a hard time bouncing back and having respectable season-long numbers with the Oilers now. It wasn't totally terrible, but this just, again, goes back to my point, Liam, of, he gave up a few softies. Mm-hmm. That one early in the second period absolutely cannot happen. No. The one from the goal line absolutely cannot happen. And I would probably like him to have the Tarasenko one as well. You can give up one of those. You can't give up all three of them kind of thing. So, unfortunately, he does wear a lot of that loss on Saturday, but I don't say that to excuse the effort in front of him.
I agree. I think this was his worst game as an Oiler. Even the Pittsburgh game, when you look back at it, backdoor tap in, breakaway, it was a little bit more difficult on him. It was bad. It was really bad. And he needs to find his game again because those two games have come within basically a full week of each other, basically, right? Just over maybe 9 days, whatever it is. It's not good enough. I'd like to forgive him a little bit more for at least one of those three, but you're right. All three of them were bad, and they can't all happen in the same game. It would have been a different story if you're looking at it the one off the face-off, quick play. He wasn't ready, obviously.
No.
But if you move on from that and continue to have a decent game, it's whatever. You allow one by goal, but your team's still in it. But against a team like the Minnesota Wild, you can't allow those. So that would be the Nugent guy, right, on that face-off technically?
Yeah, but I think it happens so fast that, you're never going to get there. Like, he snaps the drawback perfectly. Like, it is a well-executed play by Minnesota, but, like, they're off the line quick there.
Yeah. I mean, from the player's perspective, the only thing you could have done was win the faceoff.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So, yeah, I mean, I think Jarry will bounce back. I think he'll probably be okay. I think this is, again, I think the Oilers defensively weren't horrible on Saturday. I mean, look where this goal's coming from. Did that go off the back wall, the save, whatever it was. But as a collective in January, they haven't helped out their goaltending. Nope. This game, though, is on Tristan Jarry. This was not a good performance.
So with that in mind, Aaron, do we have his comments from after the game?
Oh, I thought you were going to get my quality start meter.
Well,
down.
It's down. There's no debate on that. It's like I laughed very hard on Instagram when you made the post because it was like, yep, that is a down. But here's Tristan Jarry speaking after the game.
It's just hard. I think, like I said, we were just on the wrong side of it tonight. There's obviously a lot of goals that went in, and I think that everyone knows when we play the game that we want, I think that's the game that we want to put on the ice, and I think that'll put us on the better side of things more so than not. But I think to be on that side, we just have to tighten up and we have to eliminate some of the chances.
Are the grade A's against, is that kind of a recurring theme, or is that kind of one-off here and there, or is it more than you'd like?
It's tough because the way that we want to play fast, we want to play up, we want to play in their end, and I think when we're taking some of those chances, they come back at us, and it's tough. So I think we just have to make sure we're managing the puck a little bit better.
So where do you come out on that, Liam? Because I think there's a little bit of both sides here, and the truth is, as always, it's probably somewhere in the middle. Connor Finch is in interviews after wins. Jarry's very team focused. He's consistent in being team focused after losses. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins said, honestly, I'm glad Jarry said it how it is. There's another side of it, and I think I maybe lean a little bit more this way because people are like, oh, Stuart Skinner would never have done that. To me, if you're Jarry, I think you need to realize how those comments come off. Mm-hmm. Like, I get that you're frustrated that maybe the team in front of you didn't play great, but you undoubtedly gave up 3 or 4 that you want to have back. You were pulled in the Pittsburgh game not all that long ago, 10 days ago or whatever it was. Maybe as the new guy, now, like, that's not the time. Maybe he should just be, and we like when guys speak their mind and all of that. So, like, again, I struggle criticizing him too heavily, but, like, I think maybe there you just have to put your hand up and go, I needed to make a few more saves and help us out. We didn't play our best game, but I had to be better.
I feel like that would have worked on a lot of different games, but for that one specifically for Jarry, I'm like, dude, you can structure all you want. PK hasn't been good. The first 2 goals, those 3 in the second period were awful goals to allow. And yes, there's some structure. It's a 3-on-2 for Vladimir Tarasenko, but like, that's a save you need to make. The Hughes one was wretched. The Zuccarello off the draw, you're just not ready. That ain't totally structured, but it's still accurate. Just maybe would have saved that for a different postgame.
That's what I mean. Like, I just don't know if timing-wise that was the best game to be like, group in front of me's got to be a bit tighter. Like, he only faced 20 shots. It's not like he gave up 5 goals on 35 shots through 2 periods, and it was like, what an onslaught. Like, these are plays off the rush. These aren't like the Oilers hemmed in or anything like that. So, I don't know. Someone said stop overthinking it. I think it's an important storyline coming out of the game.
I mean, the goalie, when was the last time we heard a goalie say anything like that?
Yeah.
If ever. The fact he spoke after a game after getting pulled, I think is quite significant too. I think, so his goals that we had in that graphic, is that 5-on-5 goals saved above expected, I would assume?
That was, I think that's all situations in that game.
I'm just looking, like, Money Puck, like, they have the Zuccarello goal as a 0.4 expected goal. Hughes 0.11. I don't know. I mean, I don't even need those numbers to look at it and be like, those weren't great attempts. Like, you're right. Like, the Tarasenko one, whatever it was, a 3-on-2, 2-on-1, whatever. I think that one isn't exactly like something that you can be like, how did you allow this chance to happen? I think that the Oilers do give up a lot of chances, but like, you should be able to square up on that one. Like, Jarry's not a small
I don't think that's a great goal.
No, and he kind of like almost makes himself smaller. It seems like he brings in his arm really quick instead of kind of standing taller. So I think that's fine. Not fine. I think the comments are fine. in the sense of like, I believe what is said in the room is already, what's said to the media has already been said in the room. So I think Jarry might just be that kind of goalie, and I think he comes from an organization who never won a Stanley Cup with him, but there's a lot of guys in there that won Stanley Cups, and I don't think they're afraid to speak their mind. And I think we talk about sometimes the leadership the Oilers have hypothetically lost over the years, that people talk about a guy like Perry, for example, and how he wasn't afraid. It's like, what if Jarry's just that guy now? He's just younger. You know what I mean? How he steps up and is like, hey, like, this is not good enough. Like, I'm not playing good enough. I think he probably admitted that too in the interview. But like, you're not playing good enough for me to play good enough, and we need to find it together. And I think that's where it was. So I don't mind the comments, and I don't really care how long he's been here and all that stuff. If something needs to be said, something needs to be said. And he said it. And it seems like Connor Ingram probably isn't that guy to do it. So maybe Jarry just feels like it needed to step up and make the moment bigger than maybe what it should have been after that game. But maybe that was just a line in the sand. So we'll see what happens as they continue to go here. But the stats show the Oilers have given up a ton of high danger chances over January.
Yeah.
In comparison to when he came, when they were the best in the NHL.
Our friend,
your theory, Liam, about Jarry equipment.
Oh yeah, I have two theories.
Oh, okay. Giddy up, everybody.
So someone can look this up for me, Lance, if you don't mind. I know you've probably got some spare time. So
Why?
he
usually does. Yeah, he does have time for this kind of stuff. That is a good point.
Wasn't a hit.
He's always in the chat.
He's just always in the chat. I think Jarry has got a little bit worse since his new equipment came in. So I think I think something's bugging him there. But I think when you look, it's not been great. He falls down a lot. I think he overslides. There's something going on. So check that out for me, Lance, if you don't mind.
Yeg says he thinks dark pads are bad.
It's not a bad idea. Bad AF. Maybe we need bright orange pads.
Jeff Jordan Delorier?
Maybe. My other theory, which I haven't done a deep dive on yet, because maybe I'll try and do it later in the week. So, was it one of you guys said it? Was it you who said it, or was it you?
I don't know.
You? Jarry told Ty Emberson that he likes to see the shot on the penalty.
There was a small
a lip
exchange.
reading.
Yeah.
And we have noted that the penalty kill numbers are horrendous.
Yep.
But the Oilers' penalty kill in general hasn't been that bad this season. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I feel like it's not been awful. So is this now because Jarry's asking him to adjust and like not block as many shots and get in the way of pucks so he can see them, but then he's not making the save, which is obviously a problem? I would have to lock that one's just a bit of a conspiracy theory for me. If you want some other conspiracy theories, pretty sure Paul McCartney's dead, but we can get into that on a different show.
He definitely is.
He's definitely dead.
No.
You're not on
Let's
that
get
one?
Menzies on because he has a really good theory on this.
Okay.
Yeah, but that one's also been like pretty, like that whole documentary was like, the guy who made it was like, yeah, I was joking around. Like, none of that's real evidence.
I don't need to watch
You don't
that.
joke about stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's real, the real deal.
Original Posar texted us and said that they can't send down Savoy after the roster freeze because he's played, I think it's because he's played in 16 of their last 20 games.
Oh, should have scratched him. This is the Holloway Brobeck thing all over again.
So that idea is gone. Someone else in the comments said you need to free up $1.53 million in cap space in order to be able to activate Henrique. But again, Szymanski has some bonuses because he's ELC, so I think he might cover it. I don't know. It's going to be really, really tight either way. So, yeah. And there you go. That was it. Whole bunch of stuff in the YouTube chat, Liam, about Connor Ungar. They're not calling him up, right?
Oh, no.
Like, I just think we can squash that whole idea. Even if there is an injury, Pickard probably comes back up. I don't know. But the Connor Ungar thing's not happening.
No, I don't think it was going to happen. I hope it does happen. I hope one day Connor Ungar plays well enough that he can become a member of the Edmonton Oilers. Maybe that makes a decision for you this summer in a way of like Connor Ingram's future, if he's able to kind of do well as the season progresses here. Ungar and Ingram. Maybe Ingram outprices himself on the Oilers, which would be a good thing, I would think. Means he's playing well. So I don't think Ungar's coming up. The other news that came out of Bakersfield, Atro Lepinen re-signed 2-year deal, 1-year deal.
1 year, 2-way contract for Atro Leppinen. I mean,
See, it
apparently
happens.
his D's gotten better down in Baker.
Yep.
So
I think our whole team has got way better. I think a lot of credit
despite
goes.
giving up 51 shots on the weekend.
Well, they had no defenseman.
Oh, everyone's banged up.
Well, Denis out, Lepinen's out, Akey's out, and there's one other guy that's out.
Yeah, but Josh Brown is still there.
Honestly, it's Josh Brown and Stillman, and everyone else is an ECHL or American League like contract.
Josh Brown still has another year on his contract.
When are we getting him up here?
Who's that guy? Best agent in the NHL, right? Like, without a doubt. Shout out to Jason Harshaw.
What other clients does he have?
I honestly don't know.
I'll look.
Yeah, if you're getting Josh Brown 3-year deals, legitimate Jonah Gadjevich.
Damn.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jason Harshaw from
Wow,
the
it
German
really
Sports-
is. Just Jonah Cat.
Yeah,
Josh
like a bunch of
Brown is his highest paid client.
Yeah, because he got him the bag and said, I don't need to do this agent shit anymore. I just got Josh Brown $3 million. Okay.
Bought a house in Valley View.
In Valley View. Today's guest is brought to you by Oodle Noodle. You can take advantage of the value menu deal. Add 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, and 6 wontons to your order for just $2. Any signature or premium box. Check them out online at oodlenoodle.ca to find a location near you. Mulek said there was 100% a mix-up between Connor Brown and Josh Brown. I buy. You want to talk about conspiracy theories? I believe as we bring in Dave Pagnotta. Dave, you're obviously very tight with front offices around the NHL. Do you think there's a world where they got C. Brown and J. Brown mixed up on that fateful July 1st?
I give them more credit than maybe some others. So I think they knew what they were doing. Despite my light just bailed on me. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Good.
I like the lighting. It's very ominous.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, I think they knew what they were doing.
That's probably fair. Speaking of which, they must have known what they were doing, putting Calvin Pickard on waivers. Around these parts, the last 24 hours have been filled with fans going, why would you waive him? He's good in the room. They're going to lose Pickard for nothing. Turns out nobody wants your .871 save percentage goalie. Is that fair to say?
That's probably a pretty good assessment. Yeah, I mean, everybody wants security, but the numbers not so great. So, we'll see ultimately what ends up happening for this team. Clearly, added cap space if they decide to send him down, and I don't know if that's the update. I don't know if they've done that already. But you free up some money. Maybe it gives you an opportunity to add elsewhere. But in the meantime, yeah, he could be great in the room. Could be a really nice guy. You know what they say about nice guys? Usually
Finish last.
Yeah. Good one.
Yeah. And he is ironically last.
Yes.
Save percentage in the NHL.
I guess last one on sort of the Pickard front is
On purpose.
the next sort of question everyone was asking was like, oh, are they doing this because something's imminent? Do you get the sense that Edmonton's one of the teams trying to strike before that roster freeze, which is like 48 hours away? Or again, is this just kind of more preemptive in the sense of like, okay, now that Pickard's through waivers, they can reassign him whenever they want. So if something falls in their lap, they don't have another hurdle to clear.
I think it's both. I think it's collective. I think it's just making sure you're checking off a few different boxes here and covering all your bases and whatever other term you want to use for that. Because it's clear. It's not just them. It's a number of teams that are active and trying to see if they can make something happen in the next 2 days by the time the roster freeze kicks in. There's been a lot of activity. There's a lot of teams that are engaged in a lot of things. Obviously, this is a league. We've touched on this before. Love working on deadlines. This is deadline junior. It's not really a deadline. So you don't necessarily have to go all out now, although some teams still want to. And I still believe that we're going to see some moves. May not be the big sexy ones. I hope it is, but we'll see. But from Edmonton's perspective, again, doing your due diligence, working your way across the room here to make sure you've got different options available to you if you need them.
I should correct myself in my previous comment. Calvin Pickard is not last in the NHL in save percentage. That is Canadian Olympian Jordan Binnington, who is currently last with an .866.
Fuck.
But I just wanted to make sure we all knew. Anyways.
Yeah, deep collective sigh.
Yeah. So the Oilers have not been very good against the top teams in the Central. Dallas, Colorado, Minnesota. And people are very worried about it. And when they actually get blown out by them every time.
They get their asses.
And this is no one other than like a fan side of things have been saying this, but what's the deal with Chris Knobloch? Is he safe, or is there any conversation? Because it has been bad. Like
we know the answer to this
I know
question.
we know the answer, but people are talking about it a lot more and comparing him to like the end of the Dave Tippett era too.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, he's good.
Okay.
Yeah, short answer on that one. No, they're not contemplating a coaching change or anything along those lines. As far as I know, like, I mean, you sign a guy to an extension, you're probably pretty confident that he's going to eat out at least half of that deal. So get through that. So we'll see what ends up happening in a few years. But no, I don't think that's a consideration at this point. How many teams really play well against those three teams? Like those are the three of the top teams in the National Hockey League right now, and maybe throw Tampa in the mix out east. But those are the three top tier teams in the NHL. They don't, you don't really have a good night against them. Sometimes you luck out. Colorado's in a little bit of a dip, but the dip for them, I mean, they're so freaking good this year. They've collected so much space that they can afford to be a little crappy for the time being, but that's just a blip on the radar for them. Those three teams are, no pun intended, they're wild the way that they're playing. So I wouldn't freak out over the fact that you got shellacked by Minnesota on Saturday. A lot of people do.
I think that's a good point as well. Let's go outside of Edmonton here. How surprised were you? How surprised were people around the league this morning when the news about Barry Trotz broke?
Yeah, pretty surprised because he is under contract for another season. And I think there was some word, and I think he talked about this today, that last month he notified ownership that he was going to retire after the end of his contract. I think there was some idea that, maybe he was considering something, but I don't think to this extent in terms of making a decision that he was going to hang them up. There are already some names that are starting to pop up who could be in the mix and in the running for this. We'll see kind of, where this goes. They announced, and you have it right there, the CAA was hired to kind of spearhead this search, for the organization. Of course, Barry Trotz will be to some extent engaged in those, in that search and in those discussions. But he's going to stick around until they find somebody. In the meantime, he's running the trade deadline. He's going to be part of this group, which also signifies that this is probably not something that's going to happen in season, more likely something that occurs afterwards because of some of the, individuals that are going to want to throw their hat in the ring and not just, we already heard Brendan Shanahan, in the mix. That won't be for a GM role. I think if the Nashville Predators go the direction of bringing in a president for the hockey club, I think Brendan Shanahan has already made it known that he would be willing to entertain that possibility. But in terms of the GM role itself, they're going to start to play that out. And it's probably something that's going to happen in the offseason or whenever the season ends for Nashville and what other teams end as well, so that they can, chat with their, management types, AGMs or whatever, to see if there's a fit there for them.
So
I was going to say, CAA, that's like the agency, right? Why would they bring in them to do that?
Yeah, I've already gotten questions. So it's not going to be Pat Brisson, JP Barry, and the hockey department that's looking after this. There's a separate, CAA is freaking massive.
Okay.
They deal with athletes in every category. They deal with celebs in every category. They have marketing departments. They have consulting departments and things like that. So it's that one of those departments, I assume the consulting one, with basically headhunters that are going to be looking to spearhead this search. Of course, there's going to be the sports twist to it, but then they're going to refer everybody back to the Preds. So this isn't something like Pat Brison's not sitting here going, all right, what's going to work best for me? It's a different department handling it.
Gotcha.
So how could this affect their deadline plans? I mean, this is a team that is still sitting sort of in that mushy part of the Western Conference. They have some pending UFAs, but there's been questions about some guys with a bit more term, like O'Reilly with another year on his deal. Do you think this, like, the fact that it's Trotz running this deadline and he's not going to be there past this season, does that kill any chance of like Ryan O'Reilly and these guys with term getting traded?
No, it doesn't sound like that. And that's what they acknowledged today. The owner basically saying, the deadline is his responsibility, so he can do whatever he feels fit. The only indicator out of all of that was in terms of direction of the team is they're not going through a rebuild. They're not tearing this down to the studs. This is going to be a bit of an augmentation of the roster that they're going to go through if they do that. Like, they're 4 points out. I think the writing is on the wall for this team. But you win a couple games, LA loses a couple, Seattle loses a couple, whatever. All of a sudden, the argument kind of shifts a little bit. But you also have to be realistic with things. They've got like you said, they got a lot of UFAs, Michael Bunting, Eric Haula, and so on. McCarron, that like these are pieces that would be attractive to other teams looking for depth. And then you get to the Stamkos, the Marchessaults, and the O'Reillys, in that equation too. That might be something more geared for the summer if they do go in that direction, and that might be something more focused or under the responsibility of who the new guy is when they do bring one in. But everything else, and look, if a deal falls into place for Stamkos and he's comfortable with it, the team's comfortable with it, they'll pull the trigger. But more likely than not, those guys would probably be the responsibility of the new GM, and Trotz will handle the smaller type of deals. But again, if something passes, his way, he's not going to shy away from pulling the trigger on something.
I wanted to ask about, I know we did a little bit last week, but Artemi Panarin, is anything kind of shaking there, or is it still a bit of a standstill?
Starting to get a little bit more clarity on what the options really are. I think Carolina's very much in this. I think LA's in this. What I heard over the weekend, which was very interesting, yes, he wants the extension. But if the opportunity doesn't really pop up, and Florida is also in this mix and whatever, I don't think Detroit and Washington at the moment, unless things have shifted, are destinations that are likely. He wants to chase a Stanley Cup and he wants the extension. I do believe, and I don't want to freak anybody out here, I do believe that if there is an opportunity to chase a Stanley Cup and as a pure rental, if no other options present themselves, I think Colorado, Dallas, and Edmonton would be teams that he would consider accepting a deal to as a rental to chase a cup. I think the primary goal is to do that, but also link in on an extension. Those are three teams that the extension doesn't work. We'll see kind of how this goes. Again, I was told, and we talked on this last week, that they'd like to get something done by this roster freeze. We'll see if they can pull this off in the next 24 hours. But over the weekend, you started to hear that if things don't work out from an extension side of it, and they can't figure out the trade, then he might be willing to consider being that rental for those top echelon teams. But we'll see kind of how that continues to go here in the next 48 hours or so.
I know you said don't freak out. Kind of freaking out. So, okay. Would this be as similar to a Brock Nelson trade, do you think? Where it's like, the others have to send Ike Howard and whatever else the rest of it was to like kind of match the Cal Ritchie thing, if this was to happen in this regard?
I think package-wise that makes sense, or the assets make sense. I wouldn't compare Isaac Howard to Callum Ritchie. Mm-hmm. So you're probably going to have to up that quite a bit, and I don't know if there's that piece there. And full transparency, I don't know if these two teams have spoken to the degree in which this would escalate, something in the next 48 hours. Just to reiterate, the word that I got over the weekend was those are three teams, Colorado, Dallas, Edmonton, that if it was strictly a rental opportunity and the other opportunities aren't there for him in terms of extension, that I think those are the three teams that he would be willing to chase a Stanley Cup with for the duration of this season. So have those conversations evolved? I don't think so, not yet. Or at least I should say not as of yesterday, which is when I got that info. But we'll see. Because again, I think Carolina is very much in this. I think they're willing to work out an extension. And I think they've got the pieces that would appeal to the New York Rangers. But would they be willing to give him 3 times 11, 3 times 12, or are they going to try, or is he going to really hold firm on, 12 and a half times 4 kind of thing? Or do they extend it? Do they go 5 years times 10 if he wants his 50 mil or close to it? I think all of that's been, they're trying to figure all that out. But in LA as well, I think LA is willing to make it happen, but I don't know if what they have to offer would be as appealing as some other teams right now.
Last one I got for you. Did last night's stadium series revitalize outdoor games for the NHL? Because that was awesome.
I hope so. Because yes, it was. It was crazy. It was dope as shit. The events outside the arena were awesome. The fan fest was freaking great. It was also huge. I didn't expect that. But everything just collectively was awesome. John Cooper coming out as Scarface and whatnot. Like everything was just elevated. And everything worked out like perfectly. The weather was amazing for this game. Mm-hmm. The first time they ever put that tent cover over the ice worked without a hitch. There was no malfunction. There was no, nothing was, causing any issues. The crowd was great. And the game turned out to be freaking amazing. So It was the perfect storm in the right way for them. And I think they're going to certainly build off this. You've got the Heritage Classic in Winnipeg in October. You've got Utah hosting the Winter Classic. Next Stadium Series games at Jerry's World, at AT&T in Dallas, Vegas, and the Stars. I'm sure there's going to be a spectacle tied to that. Plus, there's also the All-Star game back next season on Long Island, so they're going to have to doll that up. But I think this definitely, for everybody that bitched and complained about Miami for the Winter Classic, I think this shut a lot of people up and just reinforced what they're able to do. This was still a very localized type of event, and it was just presented on a national scale, and it was a freaking home run. And I'm glad a lot of people got to witness it, because these are localized types of events. These aren't, you're not, circling your calendar and waiting forever to go watch this game necessarily, unless you're a Bolts or a Bruins fan. But it definitely added the level of entertainment tied to this. Plus, this is a good goalie fight was nice. Yeah. But then you roll into Olympics, and you build off that momentum, and you got 12 days after when everyone's back up to the trade deadline, and then smack into playoffs. This was another good momentum builder, for the NHL, going back to last season with all the Four Nations hoopla, smack into playoffs. This is kind of similar here.
I have one more. I just want to know, is there any update on Braden Point and any Olympic changes?
Cirelli left the game yesterday too.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Cirelli left last night. It didn't seem like Coop didn't seem overly concerned, which I take as a good sign. I don't know if there's been an update today yet on that, but it didn't seem like that was a big concern. Braden Point, by the way, they were sitting, him and some of the Bolts were sitting behind us in the press box, and they were loving the fact that Vasi was just southpawing the crap out of Swayman. But he seems to be okay. But again, no definitive update there. But Coop didn't really, again, seem overly concerned that either were going to miss. But we'll see how this week plays out.
All right.
They got to know soon.
Safe travels back home from Tampa. Appreciate you popping on and giving us some insight.
Absolutely. Thanks, boys.
See ya.
There goes Dave Pagnotta. Back to Tampa Bay we send him. Which, again, doesn't make sense why we call the sports teams Tampa Bay.
What?
Because the city's just called Tampa.
But it's a bay.
But that just doesn't. Why do we? It'd be like if all the San Francisco teams were called San Francisco Bay.
But they already have 2 names, San Francisco. You don't need 3. That'd be crazy.
But we could just call them the Tampa Lightning.
Well,
the area is not called Tampa Bay. The area is called Tampa.
Tyler, you just completely broke my glass right there. I've never considered that ever before. That makes no sense.
Why do people call it Tampa Bay?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's Tampa, Florida.
It's Tampa, Florida, not Tampa Bay, Florida. When you say the Oilers are playing a game in Tampa Bay tonight, that is objectively an incorrect thing to say.
It is because this makes sense. It is the region surrounding the bay itself. So it's Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, and Clearwater, and a couple other counties. So
they want to do kind of like when they call them the Minnesota Wild, not the Minneapolis Wild. That's the reason?
Yes, it seems that way. Because they couldn't be the Florida Lightning. There's already a team called Florida.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Now it's all good. This is why you talk.
Yeah.
This is why you say things.
I
like
still
that.
don't think
Conversation.
I still don't think I fully like it though.
But don't the Rays play in St. Petersburg?
Yep.
So there you go. And one of them must play in Clearwater. Where do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play?
I don't know.
Let's look.
At that Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, I tell you that. Their uniforms, the fact they came in those was cool. They play in Tampa.
Shout out Baker. Yeah.
Someone said we call Las Vegas just Vegas, which I think if you would have talked, if you talked to locals around Vegas when the team was announced, they did not like that.
Oh, really?
They all kind of said like, no, Vegas is what the tourists called it. It's our team. It should be called
Las Vegas.
The Las Vegas Golden Knights. But again, that's also shortening it. So like that kind of makes sense that they're like, oh, it's quicker if you just say Vegas. Everyone's just going to say Vegas anyways. Do it. Yeah, the Bucks are also Tampa Bay. The Rays are also Tampa Bay. Why are they all Tampa Bay? They can just be Tampa.
Chester, why are you stalling? Start planning for Panarin trades already. That was crazy that he that he just said stay calm. How can you stay calm after a comment like that?
I mean, I get how we could get to that point.
And they should be.
And the Oilers, to their credit, have been in on every big name that's on the market. July 1, they went after Brock Besser, didn't get him. Going back to last year, they had a package and they were ready to make a move for for Mikko Rantanen. Speculation was that it involved Bouchard. We don't know that. But like they were ready to make a move for Mikko Rantanen last year and had the cap space lined up to extend him as well.
Yeah, they did.
They do that. The Oilers are a legitimate Stanley Cup contender, top tier team in the NHL. They're going to be in on every big name. Someone asked, are we just going to be like Toronto now? We're in on every big name? Yes. But again, they don't have the money to extend Panarin.
Yeah.
So right now, it seems as though Artemi Panarin's focus is on going out and getting an extension done. Anaheim, all these other teams are probably going to offer him 4 or 5 year deals at 10 to 12 or $13 million.
Apparently he wants $50 million.
Sure. And a team like Anaheim or San Jose would probably not blink twice at giving him that kind of money because they have a bunch of cap space. The Oilers, it's a non-starter for them to bring in someone who's that high of a cap hit right now.
Today, yes.
Today. So if Panarin can't get an extension somewhere and he goes, all right, my two options are run out the season with the New York Rangers who don't want me. Okay, that doesn't make sense. No, you want to go somewhere, go on a run, and build up your value again over the playoffs. So it makes sense that it's Edmonton, Florida, Tampa Bay, Colorado, Dallas. Like those are the teams who at 50% retained would try to make a move.
I think the other side of it too is a lot of the contenders just don't want to talk extension yet.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, Freeman was talking about it too, of Dallas, for example. If they get Panarin, they're basically going to, if they get Panarin and extend him, they're saying goodbye to Jason Robertson. But they could get both and then just allow Panarin to walk at the free agency, which is fine, whatever. Yeah. But they also, the rumor is out of Dallas that, which I thought was very funny, Jim Nill wants to bolster the prospect pool. So, aren't you trying to win a Stanley Cup? Like, who gives a shit about your prospect pool? And Colorado just simply cannot afford an extension because they have to worry about McCall next season.
Yeah.
So if the Oilers can get him, I think they can extend him. And this is the kind of player that they want and need. I would imagine Howard would be in the trade. Obviously, he's their top prospect. Maybe Mangiapane somehow you can squeeze in there to get some money to work. But this is why we talked about earlier, like the importance of accruing cap space. This is why it's important. Because didn't you do the math? And I think it says on Puckpedia right now, if the Oilers are able to accrue, they can have $6 million in cap space, correct?
That's playoff, different than deadline.
How's that different?
Because remember, in the playoffs, it's just the players who are in your roster who you would need to.
So they would have $6 million.
Yeah, but they're including. I would assume they're including like taking out Mangiapane, who's healthy scratch, taking out Regula. Like those guys, all of a sudden don't count.
So how much could they have? Do we know that?
I don't know the answer to that.
Son of a gun.
Someone said, where was it? It was basically a comment of like, Chester, can we talk about that? Why don't they have enough money to extend one big free agent? Isn't that why McDavid signed the biggest hometown discount ever? So I get where you're coming from with that. And they do actually have cap space to spend next season.
Yeah,
they are not totally strapped. So
they have 12.
Well, if they can get rid of Mangiapane this summer, they will have right around $16 million in cap space.
Yeah.
That would be with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 forwards on the roster. Let's count Ike Howard as one. That brings him down to about $15 million now. But you would only need to sign 2 forwards. That would be with 6 D-men signed. You have to sign Stasny. So let's say Stasny's what, 1.5 million?
Sure.
Whatever it is. Okay, so now you have Stasny in there. Your D-core is full. And then you need to sign probably Connor Ingram. Let's call him 2. So if you do 2 for Ingram, 1.5 for Stasny, and you bring up Ike Howard, that's 2, 3.5, 4.5-ish. You will have about $11.5 million to sign 2 forwards. Make one of them a league minimum guy. You can afford a $10 million player this summer just from my quick back of the napkin math. I know bonuses and shit like that could mess it up. That's enough to go get a really good player.
Yeah, and they want to.
And they've taken these shots before, and the proof is in the pudding. And yeah, Howard and Hudson are on the roster. Perfect. Hudson, Howard, both. You can sign a $10 million player. The issue is Panarin might be a $15 million player. You can go trade for Philip Forsberg. You can go do all these other things. You can afford to do that. You could sign Nick Schmaltz for $10 million if for whatever reason you wanted to do that. I don't think they would. I think that'd be dumb. But you get what I'm saying. They just can't get Panarin level. They can get a really, really damn good player. They just can't go all the way up to Panarin.
Depends what the contract is. If they were like, hey, you want $50 million? We will give you a 5-year deal. He's not like he's slowed down. He has 5... Well, he had a 189-point season last season. Yeah. On pace for another 90-point season. Like he's gonna finish 1,000 points in his career, and he joined the league when he was 25, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like this type of player who just looks like he might just keep going forever. To be honest,
again, Joe Pavelski is a guy who found a way to stay productive. Different kind of player, obviously, but like I don't know. The only thing that worries me a little bit with a guy like Panarin. Will he, and this is going to sound dumb, like, do you play him on, I guess you could split time with Nuge on the power play or whatever.
Nuge becomes your third-line center.
Yeah, and Nuge becomes your third-line center. It's definitely a step back for Nuge's role on the team. But I think if you're going to do it, you just want to be 100% sure that Panarin is the guy.
I think he would be the guy. He's the number 1 player on the market.
Right now, yeah, he is. I know. And this goes back to what we talked about with like, hey, you acquired Jarry. Now you can't go get a hypothetical Saros or whoever in the summer.
It's fine. I got Jarry and Connor Ungar.
Oh, Connor Ungar's coming. But like, if you go and make this move for Panarin, you're closing the door on being able to go make a Philip Forsberg deal in the summer.
That's okay. Panarin's probably better.
I
mean, they're not that far apart. I don't think you're that.
I think Philip Forsberg's a more complete player, and he's younger, and he's cheaper. So, like, again, you would have to know the answer to those things. And maybe they do. Maybe they've called Nashville. Nashville's like, Philip has told us he's playing out his career in Nashville. Quit calling me. Hang on.
Maybe that is the case.
Right? So, like, that's what I mean. I would want them to be sure that the package they're going to give up, which would probably be a first and Ike Howard, I don't think it would be as much as Brock Nelson, because there's the trade protection here, and Panarin's going to get to pick his spot to some extent.
You don't think it'd be as much? I think the Brock Nelson was an overpay. That's why I think it could be similar. Like, you think back to that, and it's like, really? You paid essentially 2 first-round assets? There was something else, I can't remember what it was. For Brock Nelson, I remember being blown away they gave away their top prospect. That's why I think like it could be similar. And plus, too, you probably have to throw Andrew Mangiapane in it.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, too. You got to get rid of Mangiapane and more. You probably have to get rid of Mangiapane and find a way to offload Rico, which would be very difficult to do. So, like, again, there's hurdles to jump through here, and they need to be sure. I'm not totally sold on, like, I love that Dave said it, and he obviously has intel on this thing. I'm just, like, I'm very hesitant. There's a lot of ifs.
Yeah, there is. The Oilers have to make some moves here, but the one if we do know is that it's not even an if, it's just a fact. Like you said, the Oilers have shown interest in these top available players last year, I guess.
So let's move off of Panarin for a second, and let me throw you this one that Steve Dangle put out the other day.
No,
you wouldn't do that deal.
Go on, tell me what it was. I saw it, but I want to be refreshed.
So he says, who says no to Edmonton? Bobby McMann, $1.35 million on the cap, pending UFA. To Toronto, Andrew Mangiapane, 2 seconds, so your next 2 second rounders, a third in 2028, and an extra 6th round pick. So the reason he got to this conclusion is actually pretty easy to understand here. Bobby McMann is expected to get the same return Kiefer Sherwood got, which was 2 second round picks.
Yep.
And the the New Jersey Devils, to get out of what was essentially $3.6 million of Andre Palat, traded a third and a 6th rounder.
Yep.
So it makes sense if Edmonton wants Bobby McMann and they want to get out of the Mangiapane deal, it will cost them 2 seconds, the Sherwood, a third and a 6th, the Palat deal. I think it makes sense. I would do this trade.
But you're only adding $1.5 million onto your cap if you're Toronto. But the Devils had to add, what was it?
Siplikov.
2.5. They got Siplikov for another year, but it's like 2 something. I wouldn't give him an extra third. I'd give him a 6 or make it a 5th, but then that's fine.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I would.
There's too many picks. 4 picks is too many. If it's 3 picks, it actually makes a big difference. Like we talk about,
That's
like
fair.
one thing you didn't like about the Jarry trade is that they randomly threw in that 2nd round pick because you have to manage your assets correctly.
That's fair. I would be.
There you go.
I like the player, and I think he might be one of the better fits on the market for him.
I agree.
So I just think if it comes down to it, and Toronto's going, hey, we have other offers, and this is what it's gonna take, then I'm doing it. But I agree. Instead of a third and a 6th, can you just do 1 5th rounder and call it a deal? Because the other thing too with Mangiapane, and who knows, maybe this is true for Palat, I guess, but like Toronto's gonna get a player for next year in this deal, and they could at next year's deadline keep 50% of him and trade him and get another asset out of it. So
yeah,
I don't know. The cap difference isn't enough. Yeah. I would do this again. I wince a little because you're giving up 4 picks and draft capital's hard. But I think I would do this. I also think there's a world where Toronto might get a late 1st round pick for Bobby McMann.
I agree.
Because that's another part
it's
in all
like
this.
Conditional first or something like that. I can see it.
Kiefer Sherwood got you 2 seconds from the Sharks.
Yeah, Bobby McMahon's a better player than Kiefer Sherwood too.
And the Oilers' 2nd rounders don't have the value that the Sharks' 2nd rounders do.
I'd give up a 1st round pick for him.
If it was just Mangiapane in a 1st, would you do it over that glut of picks?
Probably.
You'd want to keep your 2 seconds?
Yeah, definitely. Like Maynard said in there, he's like, how often do 3rd round picks become anything? It's not necessarily about the picks that come from. It's what can you trade those picks to get. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I look at it. Like, you're right. Like, not often. I would say in the NHL, probably more often now than they ever have before. There's a lot more talent coming to the league. But it's not about that. It's about the NHL players you can acquire.
Yeah. Doing this but not paying a 1st in Howard for Panarin is wild. I would do a 1st in Howard for Panarin at 50% retained. I'm just saying there's a whole bunch of ifs. How are you affording 1st in Howard for Panarin? Like, again, if this was a non-cap world, or if someone called Stan Bowman right now and said, I'll take Henrique and Mangiapane off your hands right now, the next thing I would do is call the Rangers and say, 1st in Howard for Panarin, let's do the deal. Like, I do that trade. I'm just telling you all it's not realistic. It could work its way into being more realistic as we get closer to the deadline. But right now, Panarin wants an extension. Right now, the Oilers cannot afford $6 or $5.75 million worth of cap hits. And right now, Artemi Panarin's focus is not being a rental somewhere. So, like, all of that. I also just said, if you're going to move a 1st and Ike Howard and give up 2 premium assets for a rental, you better be damn sure that there isn't potentially a better trade coming this summer. And I know everyone's going to say every year's a win now, and I agree with you. If you've done the Jarry trade, you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. Next year's a really important year as well. Because next year might be your last shot to prove to Connor McDavid that you have this thing on track. Or still have this thing on track, I should say. It's been on track, but like, if at the end of this season you flame out and things go horribly, I don't think there's some gross overreaction from anybody. And Connor McDavid's not sitting there. The extension kicks in next year, and it's only a 2-year extension. If you flame out and have a horrible season next year, you have some very tough and awkward conversations to potentially have next July. This July, you can still just put your foot down, pedal down, and say, we're adding, and everyone's going to be happy.
Yeah.
Wild Kyle says, who cares about the what ifs? Dude, are you dumb? The what ifs are salary cap related, and right now the player doesn't want to go anywhere. He's not extended. If we want to live in fantasy land, then we can live in fantasy land and do a whole bunch of dumb shit. But like, come on.
Someone pointed in there earlier is like, if Bobby McMahon's worth a 1st round pick, I wouldn't want him. I think when you go back and lock, like, again, I think I would do like a conditional first. You always make the cup final again. You give him a first round pick. Like, who really gives a shit? But when you look back, like, Scott Lawton was a first round pick last year, 50% retained though. Brandon Carlo, I know both those examples are Toronto-based players, but Tyler Bertuzzi was one a couple of years ago when he went to Boston. Like, guys go for first round picks all the time, especially teams who believe that first round pick is going to be from 29 to 32.
Yeah.
And the others believe that's where they'll finish if they were to able to get a Bobby McMann, sorry.
If next year doesn't go well, my theory is McDavid tells the team who to trade him to and signs an extension there. Yeah, I mean, like, again, that's if next season doesn't go well, though, which is why I've been hesitant and maybe I haven't been like a crazy go all in guy. And the only reason for that is because I'm sitting here going, you need to nail this upcoming summer. Like, this upcoming summer is borderline more important than this year's trade deadline for the Edmonton Oilers and for the long-term future of the team. And I'm just mindful of that. As much as I want them to win this year, I think they can win this year. I think they should make big trades this year. I don't know if right now, here's maybe how I'll end my rant on this. If right now Toronto's on the phone and says, we will do 2 seconds and Mangiapane for Bobby McMann, I'm not saying, no, you have to hold on because I think there's a chance a month from now I could get Panarin. I'm just doing the Bobby McMann deal, getting better now and saying, if Panarin could have happened, I guess we'll never know, whatever. I'm going to save the firsts and Ike Howard and those other pieces. I'm saving those for the summer.
I think there's maybe even a world you can do both.
I think financially it gets very, very muddy. But
if
yes, you are right.
At 50% retained, I'll even like a little bit. If you say, hey, can you get it down to $1 million for us? And that does cost you an extra couple of picks. And like every penny matters. And if somehow you can come out of this trade deadline with Bobby McMann and Panarin, my God, that'd be cool.
And then a D-man gets injured and you're playing Regula.
Play him. Highest ceiling.
Yeah, I know. I actually like Regula. He didn't deserve that. Okay, that is a wrap on today's edition of the show. Anything else that we wanted to mention today? I don't think I missed anything. Hey, I mean, show kind of wrote itself.
No, we barely spoke about the game, which was great.
Yeah, the Oilers speaking right now a little bit. Knobloch saying overall our defense as a team needs to be better.
Yep.
Ekholm saying we know how to play. It's a matter of executing it. Yep. Leon said, quote, our mindset has to shift to defending. So we know what the conversations are behind closed doors.
The Spectre had a quote as well from Draisaitl on Calvin Pickard. Said, I think I speak for everyone here. He's one of the greatest teammates all of us have had. Obviously, Pickard, if you didn't hear, like, Shooter came in at 110, being like, you guys spoke about Pickard yet?
Did you guys talk about what's in the title of the show an hour into the show?
Yeah. Calvin Pickard has cleared waivers and will report to Bakersfield.
Well, we don't know if they've assigned him.
Oh,
they don't have to assign him.
He can just sit there?
They could just put him right back on the active roster. But now there's the thing of once you need to activate Rico, you can just... There's a time limit, but you can just now put Pickard right through. Like, you've now successfully gotten him through waivers.
Of course. That's right. My bad.
So he's not technically assigned yet. We don't know if he would report to Bakersfield, if the team would make him report to Bakersfield. For now, he's on the roster.
The one other thing, if you didn't hear it and you're coming in a bit later, you can rewind and listen to our interview with Dave Pagnotta. Said the Oilers, Colorado, and Dallas, he thinks, are like 3 destinations for Panarin if he doesn't get an extension somewhere. So there is that caveat.
Oh, that'll be all over our socials.
Oh, yeah, that'll be everywhere. That'll be everywhere. Gaz is in, asked me how Bolton are doing. Big win on the weekend. Beat Wimbledon 1-0. We're on the up. We're 3rd in the league.
Wander up.
Wander up. Wander up.
All right.
When are we going back on 1260? Never.
Never know.
We don't have it.
Did you catch any of the skills competition yesterday?
I know.
So
I saw Joaquin Gage made a great glove save.
You're familiar with my nephew Cal?
I know his game.
Silly Vasily?
Yeah, Silly Vasily. So he's never been to an Oilers game, obviously, because he's like 2 and whatever.
Okay.
2 and a couple
so
months.
he went to the skills.
So they took him to the skills competition. This is how you know he's going to be a real puck fan. Do you think he was excited?
Oh, fired up.
No, he was disappointed that it wasn't a real hockey game. He's like just over 2 years old. I FaceTimed him after because I'm like, he's going to be so excited that he like got to see Vasily, as he calls him. And like he got to see Connor McDavid. He brought his little Connor McDavid. And I called him. My sister was like, yeah, he's pretty mad. He's mad this wasn't a real hockey game.
Uncle Tyler, there was dogs on the ice.
Yeah. Is that what he said?
Oh, he saw Mini Hunter. They had Hunter had custody this weekend, I guess. And also Cal not in on that.
No.
Unnatural.
He's
He does
dialed in.
not. He wants Big Hunter and only Big Hunter.
He's got your dad's blood.
He really does. Yeah. All right. That's a wrap on today's
That is
edition
so
of the show.
funny.
Not
Mom and Dad, why did you do this to me?
Not a real
I
hockey
could be
game.
at home watching Bluey, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. Okay, tomorrow. Who do we have on the show? Oh, I'm going to text Jay Rosso because they play the Leafs.
Okay. They play. Oh, the Leafs is tomorrow.
The Leafs is tomorrow. Jay Downton will be here.
Okay.
And yeah, should be a good show.
Nick Alberga will be on pre and post. Get your chirps ready in the chat.
Nick Alberga.
Someone
He's
said,
in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Will be.
Right, of course.
Someone said, are you implying Hunter is a deadbeat dad?
Yes.
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 He has custody of his kid like 2 days of the year.
Yeah, that's not good.
Can you go to any other logical conclusion here other than he is a deadbeat dad?
Yeah. I mean,
Hunter, if you're listening, I
Figure
hope
it
you
out.
get the joke.
Wise Kyle asks editor and Leaf. He is no longer active on Twitter, I don't think. Or at least he deleted that tweet.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.